chair will next call case number 008879, 57 JFK Street. Anyone here wish to be heard on this matter?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Andrew Upton, Andrew U-P-T-O-N, along with Austin Collier, C-O-M-L-I-E-R, and Rosamond Lu, R-O-S-A-M-O-N-D-L-U. I'm aware that they are from a company called BaoBao, which I'm going to be saying a lot.
What did you say?
BaoBao,
BaoBao,
B-A-O,
B-A-O.
B-A-O. Space there. I want to briefly review why we think we comply with the requirements for a special permit, and then I'll turn things over to Austin to give you some background on the company and the product and our proposed operation in Harvard Square. First, I'm happy to report that we have met with and earned the support of the Harvard Square Business Association and the Harvard Square Advisory Committee. We've also gathered over 2,200 signatures on a petition supporting the Harvard Square location for BaoBao. And we have a graphic representation of the online petitions to submit for the record. We hope you'll find that this use will not be a detriment to public interest because it will not create additional traffic. The nature of the use is compatible with other building tenants and businesses. This is a unique and appealing food choice for consumers. There will be no adverse or negative effects due to the healthy nature of the product and style of preparation. Previous occupant of the space was a fast order yogurt place, and it didn't seem to cause any detrimental effects. We hope you will find that this use will comply with the fast order food requirements and does not create traffic or parking problems or threaten pedestrian safety. The design fits in with the area. The establishment fulfills a need for a popular ethnic cuisine that is not yet available in a fresh, fast order format. Our mostly walking customers will be served on biodegradable materials and have convenient, well-marked waste receptacles in which to dispose of. And the design will comply with applicable access code. Finally, we think this use will support the citywide urban design objectives as visually compatible use in the district with many food service options that is pedestrian and bicycle friendly, with minimal environmental impact, and no increased burden on the city infrastructure. With that, I'll turn this over to Austin for some detail on the actual concept.
The board would like to hand out some copies of this presentation. Thanks. All right. This just gave a short background on the concept and the company. We realize this is a new concept to Cambridge and, in fact, the United States. So we'll just enlighten you quickly and then go into specifics.
Is the goal, however, to have many other BaoBaos and stuff?
Eventually, I believe. Maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
but not many.
Yes. Yeah.
Others.
It's not out of the question, but
This one has to work first.
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah. So a little bit about our origin. Our concept comes from a concept of a Chinese company called Ganqi Shirt. That's Ganqui. That's been operating in Hangzhou and Shanghai successfully for the last 7 years. The founder of that company, if you go to page 3, that's a picture of him, is Tom Tong. He is also the founder and majority stakeholder in Tom's BaoBao. Of course, our concept focuses around the product of the bao and making the highest quality version of that possible. In China, this is a household product. It would be like saying sandwich. Everyone knows what it is. However, it's not a mass market product in most cases. He changed that in China, and now he wants to change that in the U.S. through this store and company. A little bit about our product. Bao goes by a few names. Bao is the official name. BaoBao as well. It's a 1,200-year-old recipe. There's a lot of different iterations. It's a very pure design. We make it by hand in store in front of our customers. We have many different flavors. It can create both a very healthy meal because it's all water-based dough, steam is used, so it's very low fat content in it. And it is a product that's the only cooking element in the store is a water steamer. So we're just cooking with hot water. Yes. So in addition to the process the customers see the end product, we think we have a process that really sets us apart as well. As I said, they're made in front of customers in the store. We have a glass front to our kitchen, and customers get to see these finely tuned skills that our employees get, which is far beyond what a normal fast casual restaurant employee would get to attain this level of skill and also specialty bakery type environment. And so we want to engage customers and engage the community in learning about this product and what we do and appreciating it as art and a creative process, as well as the convenient and healthy food item. Often we've seen order times well under 60 seconds, and that's from when the customer gets to the counter until the food is given to them, fully prepared and ready to go. Again, like a bakery, it's prepared beforehand based on projected demand, but is served fresh out of the steamer.
What are your contemplated hours of operation, days of operation?
Initially, we contemplated a sort of later morning to mid-evening, but after meeting with the Harvard Square advisory group, they suggested that we be open both very early and late. In Asia, this is typically a food that people would eat at breakfast and at lunch. But we think there's also a sort of a late night snack market here. So they've encouraged us, both the Business Association and the Advisory Committee encouraged us to stay open late. So at this point, we're thinking we could open at 7 in the morning and close at 1 at night.
Yeah, we're definitely an all-day product, luckily it's, again, very portable, very quick, so we want to take advantage of the great foot traffic and liveliness of the area, but we don't feel like we're going to be any cause for congestion either in the larger building we're in or in the neighborhood at large. A little bit more about our training process. Again, we like to hire local. We like to hire with the idea that we can keep our people and create more human capital in the area. Employment begins with weeks of training outside of the store and then moves into a long, almost internship type process.
How many employees will you have on the premises?
I think we have around 5.
Yeah, out of shift.
Yeah, it shifts, I know, but 5 at any one time, roughly?
Roughly. It's 12, as you probably know, it's 1,200 square feet, so we feel that's adequate without creating too much of a crowd.
You're not going to offer hamburgers, are you?
No, we will not.
Thank you.
BaoBao is our core competency. It's something that we believe we do better than anyone else, not only certainly in the U.S., but actually in the world, as a current company, as a process that we're trying to continue. And we believe that as much as it's convenient to offer some other things, we want to create that quality, to keep that brand at the highest possible level of reputableness we can support. Anyways, we are looking to obviously build in Harvard Square, in Cambridge, this coming year. We want to continue that process and that product very closely, but we realize rebranding for the United States is necessary and also very wide. So we've contracted Douglas Holt, a former Harvard professor, to work with us on cultural strategy. We've contracted different design groups, including Red Construction and Gus Glory Design, to make sure that this really works for where we are and what we're doing, not just with the product that we're using. Going into how we fit into Harvard Square, we believe that this is going to be a very good match. We're aiming at audiences of young urban professionals and students. We believe this is a great business market. This is a place that really has a good infrastructure where people care about being very deliberate about who they let in to this environment and the brand of not only the stores, but the neighborhoods themselves. To that end, we've been working on redesigning our store to make sure that it fits in the larger building room as well as possible. So if you actually, I can hand these out now. We have some layouts of the store as it is right now.
The layout of the store is from our zoning point of view, all that relevant. I mean, they have that anywhere. I just want to point out.
Sure,
It's really the nature of the business to be conducted in that forest.
Yeah. So our customers will enter through Clinton Street, which is mainly a pedestrian passageway. course, the Crimson Galleria faces JFK Street, but we believe that because of our location in the store, while we don't have that worry of, people trying to park right in front of us, things like that, we are facing a park, and we realize that the zone challenges. We have a lot of people who will be doing takeout. We have 13 seats in the store, plus room for standing. It's very portable. It's good seating where people would eat inside the store if we're cold or something. But going outside, we've measured the bins in the surrounding park. The square garbage compactors are 14 inches by 18 inches, and the round bins are just about 3 feet in diameter. So any box you might use for takeout or anything like that would, of course, be able to be disposed.
Will you have your own waste receptacles up by the
Yes,
front
of
door?
course, yes. But of course, if people were to venture further.
No, I understood. But there will be that plus what's in the park.
Yes, because we do have a little bit of outside seating supply, waste receptacles for those customers. In addition to that, we are committed to using bins to move the trash from the store to the dumpster next to the larger building to reduce the chance that any rippage or spillage of garbage would happen during the surrounding area, and make a very deliberate effort to educate our employees that any trash, regardless of if it has our logo, our branding on it, in the surrounding parklet needs to be cleaned immediately.
What about delivery of food? They're going to use in the preparation of your products. How often do you get deliveries? Because you must be talking about fresh vegetables most of the time. And where does it come?
All the fillings are prepared ahead because
On the premises?
No.
Off premises?
Off premises.
And they're
So,
delivered?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And delivery will follow the rules of Winterville Street. It's open for delivery at certain times.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So we wouldn't have pork, beef, chicken, farm shore, vegetables all coming separately. It all comes
Got it.
pre-made from the commissary.
Right, correct. A little bit more about our efforts to keep the space clean and green. We have biodegradable packaging that we're going to use as much as possible. This food does not require utensils. It doesn't require a whole lot of anything other than actual product. There's no sauces, packets, things like that to dispose of. So we can minimize potential impact that way. In terms of our operation, we believe it is compatible with the historical uses, certainly of that space that used to be yogurt land, but also of the surrounding area as a market of eclectic and interesting, often very unique brands of food and companies. So that is, I would say, my job. Yeah.
And the products that you're going to be selling at the restaurant are just bows?
Correct.
You're not going to do hot and sour soup or something like that? Okay.
Drinks?
Heavy drinks,
Oh, yeah, good
coffee,
drinks, yeah.
tea,
Coffee,
maybe some
tea.
Yeah, check that.
Asian-themed drinks, but
But the food matter is just basically the buns.
it is,
Correct.
in
How many varieties? Yeah, how many flavors?
So we have about 5 or 6 core flavors, and of course we're doing R&D to make sure that those are all going to be relevant to our customers and that attracts them, and also to make sure that whatever ingredient adjustments we need to make are done in a way that preserves that taste. So we're getting our chefs back this week to actually complete that process. In addition, we'll have a rotating menu of different specialty items that we make, hopefully on a monthly basis. So while we'll have those things that someone, maybe you go into Dunkin' Donuts and like getting their corn muffin every morning. Well, if you like your apple barbecue pork bao for lunch, you can have that every day, but also maybe we'll have, a lobster bao in July or something.
I should point out to you that it's very customary for people when they have asking the relief you want to bring samples of the food.
I was going to say, where are
Where in the world is it?
That's not possible yet. We still need to
Yes.
bring all the ingredients together.
We sent our chefs to China on a 3-month training trip. They'll be back on Tuesday. In fact, Austin went through the training himself as well.
But you would not want my bao.
Well, we're going to have to continue this.
I guess.
We'll be sure to send some samples.
Yes, absolutely.
That's it?
That's it. That's any questions?
Any questions from members of the board at this point? I'll open the matter up to public testimony. Is anyone here wishing to be heard on this matter? Ms. Joseph? Busy night for you.
Good evening, Denise Jilson, DENISE, JILLSON, Executive Director for the Harvard Square Business Association. And I'm delighted to be here tonight to support Tom's BaoBao. I haven't tasted one yet either, but I'm looking forward to it. But they have joined the association and are getting involved already in planning where we have some events coming up and they're hoping to participate in these events. So even though they're not a locally owned independent, which by the way, 70% of the businesses in Harvard Square are in fact locally owned independent.
Are they really?
They are, yes. And this is an international company, but we welcome them as we welcome all commerce in Harvard Square, and think that this will be a terrific addition to Winthrop Street. You know, Yogurtland was lovely, but we had a lot of frozen yogurt.
We remember
And, we don't have any BaoBao. So this will be our first. We're honored that they chose Harvard Square to be their first location in the United States, and really looking forward to working with them. So we hope that you'll approve this, and thank you for your consideration.
Anyone else wishing to be heard? Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you very much. My name is Craig Kelly, K-E-L-L-E-Y. I think this would be a wonderful addition to Harvard Square. Harvard Square, especially this area, is a stunningly international place. It's got the English Institute inside the garage. It's got the Kennedy School. It's a place where people from all over the world come, and there's plenty of falafel, and there's plenty of other types of food, but there's nothing like this. And I think the ability for people to share their native food while they're in the square as students, as visitors, as whatever, will be a wonderful opportunity. So I hope that you approve it. Thank you.
I just characterize your comments and Ms. Gilson's comments as going, which is important, going to one of the requirements that we have to find for fast order food establishments, namely that the establishment fulfills a need for such a service in the neighborhood or in the city. And the point being is that we don't have, I'm going to call it bun facility in the city, so it is one more element of the international cuisine that's offered in Harvard Square that's unique, at least right now, will be unique to Harvard Square. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Sir.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Tracy, T-R-A-C-Y, 75 Winthrop Street. I am very excited to see BaoBao actually coming to Harvard Square and just want to go in my support.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Apparently not. The only correspondence I see in the file is a memo from the Harvard Square Advisory Committee reporting on their meeting with Ms. Liu and Austin Collier and Mr. Upton. Go through what they talked to you about, which is what can be covered by your presentation today. And the comments they offer: a motion was made and seconded to support the application for the fast order food establishment, that the proposal meets the guidelines of the Harvard Square Overlay District. There is a need for fast order food in Harvard Square for visitors, employees in the square, as well as the student population. Most of these people have been to Harvard Square lately, but there's plenty of fast order food in Harvard Square, maybe not south. There will be no changes to the building facade other than signage is allowed in section 7.000. Let me stop and point that out. Signage is a separate matter. I mean, when you read it open, you're going to need a special sign permit, and if you don't meet requirements, you have to come back for a variance in that case. So just to point out that you don't have a free rein in what kind of signage you're going to put on. That's for the future. This particular location has been a mixture of restaurants as well as other customer service establishments. There are 4 conditions suggested by the committee if the Board of Zoning Appeal grants a special permit. One is that trash be handled in such a way as to provide receptacles inside and outside of the restaurant, and they be monitored to prevent overflow. And you've already addressed that in your comments. So you're going to have it outside the door, and of course there isn't a park. And I think it goes without saying you'll regularly empty the barrels. 2 is that the trash is moved to the alley for storage in such a way as to not leak and or spill along Winthrop Street or in the alley. A solid container, not just a plastic bag, is suggested. Policing the trash in front of the restaurant as well as along Winthrop Street is very important. When you've addressed that as well, I think, so far in your commentary. 3, the applicant reconsider the design of the entrance to increase the level of activity along the street. And I'm going to say that's not really a matter for our board. That's for you to decide.
That being said, we have taken that advice.
Oh, okay, good.
And we have eliminated what we were calling the vestibule, a little bit of an entry area that the advisory commission thought was not effective.
Do you know if this, what you redesigned satisfies the Harvard Square Advisory Committee? Have you shown it to them? I'm just out of curiosity. Not that you had to, but
We showed them the original plan, they
Right.
said, get rid of this, and we did.
Okay.
So
you did.
we're-
Okay, you effectively did.
And basically, they said they wanted that and a trash can out by the entrance.
Right.
Both of which we've put in, and we can submit this updated plan to the board if you need a copy.
Just with your representation, which you just made, about where the location will be and the fact that you've redesigned in response to the suggestion or the request of the Harvard Square Advisory Committee is sufficient. And lastly, 4, the applicant should consider expanding the hours of the restaurant to appeal to customers later than 10 p.m., especially on weekends. And you've addressed that as well. You haven't decided, I gather, the actual hour yet, the actual hours of operation? Is that correct?
We will request 7 to 1 a.m. and then we will decide.
Well, we're not going to decide, we won't decide
Well, we probably
ourselves.
apply for that on the CV license.
Yeah,
We will
yeah.
apply for that.
So that's, we've taken their advice, and that's where we are, assuming that's allowed going
The
forward.
point is
That's
that
where we'll be.
you're planning to have late hours of operation as part of your business nature. We're not going to get into tonight, try to establish the exact hours.
Right, we have taken that advice and we're in agreement.
And then the memo concludes by saying all members in attendance but one supported the motion. So you have the support, as you told us already, of the Harvard Square Advisory Committee. And that appears to be it in terms of written communications, and we've heard from those in the audience who want to be heard. So I'm going to close public testimony. Anyone here, any members of the board want to discuss this? Ready for a vote? Looks like everybody's ready. Okay, this board makes the following findings with regard to the application of the petitioner. That the requirements of the ordinance are such that it can only be met with the granting of a special permit, because our ordinance provides that a fast order food establishment, which is a defined term under our ordinance, and you fall within it. It's not intended to be specific to any type of business. It's just the general nature of your business, and you are a fast order food establishment. The traffic generated or patterns of access or egress resulting will not cause congestion, hazard, or substantial change in established neighborhood character. In this regard, there are other even fast food, if not exactly fast food establishments. There are very similar establishments right in the immediate neighborhood, and it does not cause congestion or any hazard. As you pointed out, you will be basically facing Winthrop Street and the park, across Winthrop Square Park. And that provides areas for people to enjoy the food that they buy at your premises. That the continued operation or development of adjacent uses as permitted in the ordinance will not be adversely affected by what is proposed. What you're doing is what's been there for a long time in a different nature, namely frozen food operation, frozen yogurt operation. And that the continued operation and development of adjacent uses will not be adversely affected by the nature of the proposed use. I guess only to the extent that you have such a wonderful business, you're going to take away business from the others, so you will adversely affect them. But other than that, you're not going to adversely affect other people can continue to run their businesses in the neighborhood as they have so far. No nuisance or hazard will be created to the detriment of the health, safety, and welfare of the occupant or the citizens of the city, and that the proposed use will not impair the integrity of the district or adjoining district or otherwise derogate the intent and purpose of this ordinance. In this regard, the chair would note that the proposed establishment has the support of the Harvard Square Advisory Committee, apparently the support of interested citizens. We've heard no negative comments, and we've heard several positive comments. And it is consistent with the nature of Harvard Square in terms of offering various means of international cuisine. So on the basis of all of these findings, the chair moves that we grant the special permit being requested by the petitioner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. In favor. Good luck.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.